Hello, this is Barb Reed, the Wexford Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Pennsylvania, and today I'm going to share with you my cute little candy bar card. Okay, opens like that, and then behind the card there is a little spot that you can put a candy bar, and this is the M&M candy bar. Nice size, great gift to give to somebody for Valentine's Day. And I wanted to let you know that today's project, I am featuring the Forever and Always bundle. That is in the new mini catalog. If you need a new catalog and you don't already have a demonstrator, please contact me and I'll get you one, because it is celebration, and along with your catalog, you will get a celebration brochure. And when you spend $50 in either of the catalogs, the mini or the annual, you get to choose one celebration item for free. So it's an exciting time, a great time to make some purchases for the new spring season that's coming along. So we're going to be using this set as well as this beautiful paper. It's called the True Love paper, and it's black and white, but I'll show you with my project today that you can definitely use your blends to color it, or you can just use it with your pinks and your reds as a great contrast black and white. So those are the two that I'm going to be using today. So let's go ahead and get started. This is my project here. So the first thing we're going to do is put together the little slide part for your candy bar. All right. Now, if you are following along on YouTube, you can always check on my blog. My blog is thewexfordstamper.blogspot.com, and I will have a video tutorial there, as well as all the dimensions you need for all the projects. So you can always look there if you have any questions. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. For this one, I used some Flirty Flamingo, so we're going to use the same thing again, and we're going to do some scoring first. So I'm going to grab my scoring board here, and we're going to score on this piece. This is going to make the part that the candy bar slides in, and this is cut at 8 1/4 by 8. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the 8 1/4 inch side at the top. That's the long side. Okay, and on the long side, we are going to score at 1 3/4, 2 1/8, 5 3/8, 5 3/4. Okay, that is all the scoring we need for this part. Now I'm going to go ahead and score this. This panel is cut at 8 by 3 5/8, and that is going to be the Flirty Flamingo piece. That is the panel that we can open and close to make our card front. And we only have one score mark to make on this. We're going to put it up here on the short side, and we're going to score at 3/8. All right, so I can put my scoreboard away now. We've got all our scoring done for this project. All right, let's go ahead and grab my bone folder, and we'll go ahead and do our creasing on all our score lines on our larger piece of Flirty Flamingo. Now, M&M's does have these large candy bars in lots of different flavors, so you can kind of choose your favorite. This one here is the milk chocolate with crisp rice inside and little mini M&M's. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide the candy bar inside this, and then I'm going to put it face down, and I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of tearing tape right along the back, the larger section of the back. Let me grab my tearing tape. Okay. And I'm going to put a piece of tearing tape here. I'm going to grab my pick tool. And then you're going to go ahead and close it together and keep it lined up. And you want it to be tight enough that your candy bar is not just going to fall out. Okay, so there we go. There's our first part of our project. Then I'm going to bring in the second panel here. This is the front of our card. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crease down that score line. And now this is going to be the section that goes right on the front of the card like that. So I found the best way to adhere is using some Tombow. So I'm going to put a very small line of Tombow along the thinner section of this Flirty Flamingo panel. And then I'm going to just go ahead and add it right to the side of my card. I'm going to turn it upside down and let the table help in pushing against. And this gets dry quickly. And there we have our inside panel. All right, our outside panel. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some of the True Love Designer Series paper onto the front of my card. And this piece is cut at 7 3/4 by 3 inches. And it's just going to go right on the front, just like that. All right, so I'm going to grab again my Tombow glue. And we're going to put a little bit of Tombow all the way along my Designer Series paper. And then that will go right on the card front here. All right, now let's bring in my sample, and I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful little flower arrangement here. And it's going to be different than you think. All right, instead of using stamps from the stamp set, I grabbed another piece of the True Love Designer Series paper and I did some coloring. So you can find a set of flowers that you like and you'd like to be the focal point of your card, and then you can color them. Now the way I colored them, I first used my Flirty Flamingo. So let's just use this one as an example. Okay, I'm going to use the dark Flirty Flamingo first on the bullet point, and I'm just going to do one of these little flowers here. And what I love about the Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper, it really helps you figure out where the dark areas are. It always gives you a little bit of a hint on where you might want to put your lines. So there, I took the dark first and I colored in those areas there. Then I went back with my light and I pushed all that ink out toward the end of each of these petals. So I'm going to go all the way around, starting in near the center on the petal and moving out towards the end. So you want to have the petals a little dark towards the center, and then as they move out, they're going to get a little lighter. Okay, I love these pens. They do such a great job with shading and make it very easy. I'm not at all an artist, and they can really make your flowers look beautiful. Now, I feel like I want to go back and put a little more of the dark in there. And that's another thing that's great with these. You can layer your colors and decide how much of each color you like. So now I'm going back and I'm putting a little more of the darker Flirty Flamingo just to make the flower a little more interesting. I really like it that way. And then the last thing I did is I took the light Calypso Coral and just went in very close to the center and around there just to give it a little bit of an orangey color there towards the center. So that's how I did my flowers. Now let's look at the leaf. And what I did here is I took my dark Old Olive, and I'm going to just use the brush tip, and I started right near the flower, and put the dark on the inside edge of the leaf. Then I took my Old Olive Light, and with the point starting in, the brush tip starting in where the dark is, I pushed out towards the edge of the leaf. And you can see how the leaf gradually changes from the dark to the light. So that's how I made all my leaves. Then once you finish all your coloring, you can just use your paper snips and just fussy cut it out. And now let me show you how mine came out. So I chose a piece from that paper, did all my coloring, and then I fussy cut it out. And this is my result here. And that's gonna just go right here on the left side of your candy bar card with dimensionals. So let me grab some dimensionals. We'll put those on the back of the flowers, and then that'll go right on the left-hand side of your card front. So it's really an easy way to bring flowers to your project. Now you can always use the stamps and Stamp and Color and die cut. That's a great idea too, but this is just another option that you have with the beautiful paper. All right, so there is that. The next thing I did is I cut out, using the die cuts, these two pieces. This is like the background piece for the always, and then here is the beautiful always cut out of the basic black paper using the die. Isn't that beautiful? And it looks so much better when you have the little background piece. So I'm going to grab my Tombow again, and I'm going to squeeze it very gently. I just want to have tiny little dots here. Okay, I'm going to look for the areas that are a little thicker maybe than others, and I'm going to just put little dots. I don't worry about it being on every square inch of the die. I make sure that I have a little at the end of each of these dies, like at the end of the A and at the end of the S, but I really don't worry too much about having it absolutely everywhere along it. Okay, now if you do have a little bit of the glue swoosh out from behind your die, you don't have to worry because it dries clear. And then you just line it up with your background piece. And that's another cool thing about the Tombow. It gives you a little bit of time to get your pieces where you want them. Okay. So there you have it. There is my always. Okay. I noticed that I need a little bit of glue here behind my little swoop on my W. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and push that down. All right, there we go. And there is our always. Isn't that pretty? All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn the whole thing over, use a little more Tombow, and put that directly on to my card front. Okay, just a little bit down the side. Okay, now I'm going to turn that over and put the always right here about in the middle from top to bottom. Okay, oops. Once your fingers get a little sticky, sometimes you pull things off you don't mean to. All right, let me get my pick tool. That's a better way to put everything down rather than with your sticky fingers. All right, that looks great. All right, next we're gonna take in a half-inch strip of the Flirty Flamingo, and we're gonna do a little bit of stamping here. I'm gonna bring in my Memento Black, Tuxedo Black ink, and we're gonna take the Forever And. Okay, and that's what we see up here at the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right on to the strip as best I can. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut on the sides a little bit of on an angle. Okay, and then that is going to fit right up in here. Okay, so let me get some more of the dimensionals. This time I'm going to go with some of the minis because they will fit behind this a little bit better. And take those little backings off. Okay. And just want it to be right above the ways part of always. Okay, there we go. The last thing for our front is going to be some of the adorable little embellishments. I've been trying, New Year's resolution for 2021 is to use more embellishments. And I love these. These are the Elegant Faceted Gem, and I just use the clear ones here. And I always like to place my embellishments in sets of 3. Making kind of like a triangle. So I'll put one right there. And one here. And round out the 3 by putting one right there. All right, so there is the front of my card. Isn't that pretty? Let's go ahead and work on the inside. Let me show you the inside on my sample here. We're going to stamp one of the larger flowers with the Memento ink, and then we're going to put our sentiment there. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our piece of basic white. And this is cut the same as the front panel, cut at 7 3/4 by 3 inches. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Tuxedo Black Memento ink and ink up the large flower. And I'm just going to put it right here in the left-hand bottom corner. There we go. And then I'm going to grab the sentiment. Now the sentiment is made up of 2 sentiments. Actually, I used the width and I used my whole heart. So I kind of had to piece it together. So I just laid it down on the my workspace, and then when I found it to be straight enough, I stuck it onto a block. Let me go ahead and get this right on here. There we go. We have with my whole heart. So that's all the stamping we need to have done. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of coloring, just like we did when we did our outside flowers. We're going to use the same process. I'm going to take my dark Flirty Flamingo and following those lines all the way around my flower, I'm going to go ahead and add the darker color. I'm going to come back with my lighter color now, and I'm going to move out from the inside, and that is going to allow my darker Flirty Flamingo to blend in with the light, and then the lighter one to move out toward the edge of your petals. So you want to continue to have it dark close to the center, but then you want a gradual change of color as you move out toward the end of the petal. And that's what the blends do. They blend that center section of color together using the alcohol in the markers and make a nice transition from dark to light. I love it. I love these. These are so fantastic. All right, so we're almost done all our leaves. And sometimes once I finish it, I go back and I say to myself, I think I would like that Flirty Flamingo to be a little darker on the inside. And I'll go back and take my dark Flirty Flamingo again and maybe put a few more lines in there. Okay. And because it is blending in over the other alcohol marker, everything blends in very nicely. And then the last thing I like to do is add a little bit of the orange around the very, very inside of the flower, just to give it a little more interest. All right, there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and turn that over, and we're going to put that into the inside of our fabulous candy bar card. Okay. If you go to my blog, remember, all the directions will be there, and there's actually a PDF there that you can download and print that has all the information that you need to make this card. All right, so there you have it. There are 2 fabulous candy bar cards, a great choice for Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and come back soon. I have more Valentine projects to share. Take care. Bye-bye.